What's going on, everyone? Coming from you a little bit late tonight from the home office, posting this on the Monday morning. Wanted to go over this past weekend's preseason USFL, or excuse me, preseason NFL game. Kind of highlight the USFL players and XFL players getting their opportunity to shine and whatnot. So the Hall of Fame game happened this weekend. It was the Jets versus the Browns. Jets didn't have anyone going from the XFL or USFL, and the Browns had three players. They had Hunter Thedford, Austin Watkins, and Lorenzo Burns. Both Burns and Watkins were on uh, the championship Stallions. Well, Hunter Thedford was a 2022 guy from the Pittsburgh Maulers. Now, after the game, Tedford gets released. They ended up signing Derrick Kelley the second. Um, he was a late signing by the Brahmas. He's been in the league, bounced around for a while, but now he's getting a full opportunity to come. Like I said, he only started 3 or 4 games. Brahmas had a lot of injuries, but ended up getting an opportunity there. And then now he's translated for, um, he's translated to another contract in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. He's played on the Saints, Giants, and Jets, and then Browns will be his fourth NFL team. So let's get into the game. Obviously, if you watched, you saw that Austin Watkins made some movement. It was about the end of the third quarter. Comes in, starts getting his reps. Burns has been playing pretty much the whole second half. Maybe it looked like a little bit in the second quarter, but uh, what we're seeing is obviously these USFL guys and XFL guys getting an opportunity. Burns finishes the game. He put together 3 tackles, all assisted, but he did have a nasty interception that he did drop. I saw it was kind of thrown behind him and whatnot. And then Austin Watkins, 2 receptions, 35 yards, game-winning touchdown. Now, moving forward with Hunter Tedford, he was playing at left tackle. So you got to know about Hunter is that he was a tight end coming out of Utah and Sam Houston State. Went to the Lions at one point. After he was done with the Lions, went to the USFL, had a little bit of success, was mainly used as their blocking guy. Gets re-signed at the end of the season, middle of the season, excuse me, of the NFL season, to the um, to the Patriots as a left tackle. Ends up spending some time with the Broncos, and then released once more. Tedford has been utilized as an offensive tackle. The first thing I'm seeing against him, he's going around the Jets first round pick, Will McDonald. He looks a little bit overmatched and whatnot as well. Um, nothing really, nothing really too exciting. Footwork looked like he was leaning over as at his waist instead of bending at the hips, if that makes sense. And then McDonald looked like every time he had an opportunity, he could just do a spin move. It was nasty. He looked very uncomfortable. And then Tedford was released, obviously replaced by Derrick Kelley. Now, Lorenzo Burns playing on their special team. Let's talk about him for a little bit. Obviously, it looks like because has the ability to play on special teams, that makes him a lot more versatile and at least going to open them up to a practice squad position. Austin Watkins is a real flyer here. I do think he has an opportunity to make the 53-man roster. Um, it does look pretty good for him. Anytime you score a game-winning touchdown and whatnot, you're going to look a lot better. Didn't really see what he was doing on the blocking as and whatnot. Overall, looked pretty comfortable with DTR, who was the second quarterback for them. But if you pull up the receivers for the Cleveland Browns, you got Michael Woods, Jalen Wayne, Cedric Tillman, Anthony Schwartz, Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Sean Henry, Jakeem Grant, Marquise Goodwin, Amari Cooper, David Bell, and Jalen Darden. The biggest thing, and I've said this about a lot of these guys, is what are they gonna do as far as playing special teams and whatnot. If Watkins can get on the field on multiple different facets, it seems like a lot of these spots, like I see Amari Cooper's going to have a spot. Jakeem Grant's going to be that punt return shifty guy. Marcus Goodwin could be a surprise cut, but in the end, you're still looking at Donovan Peoples-Jones, Elijah Moore, Anthony Schwartz. Is this team going to carry 5 receivers? I do think he's candidate to make the practice squad and whatnot, because when you do have those air quote highlights, it makes life a little bit easier to get onto the field. But on the same time, I'm not really sure if he's going to be if he's going to be actually a key contributor to this game and more of a developmental guy. Now, he's been around for a little bit. I think he came out in 21. He's had some time in the CFL. He's been with the 49ers and the Bucks. Was a real nice piece, really stepped up for when they had injuries at receiver last year. Obviously, Davion Davis was one of the guys in that offensive set. But I do think that he does have the ability to be a practice squad guy, especially if he can keep coming out on the stat sheet versus some of these other receivers. Now, because there was only one game, there's really not too many players to talk about in this preseason weekend review for the USFL and the XFL. I did want to point out two quarterbacks that played that I could see making the jump to an alternative football league. Kellen Mond, looks like they kind of gave him the keys to that Ferrari, but they had him on the team last year. They didn't play Josh Dobbs in this preseason game, meaning that Dobbs has probably looked good enough in practice to be that QB2. Dobbs has had that experience and whatnot. So I'm very curious to see if Kellen Mond could be out of a job and then pushing on to DTR being that QB3. For Mond, this would be his third year in the NFL. Is that a guy you want to keep on your practice squad, or would you rather take one of these younger rookies or maybe a USFL or XFL guy who has some more experience in case you actually have to throw that guy in a game? I'm also going to go and throw out Chris Streveler right there. I think Tim Boyle has got the inside track due to the Aaron Rodgers friendship discount that he probably gets. And then you have, obviously, Zach Wilson as QB2. Do you keep Streveler on the practice squad? You probably do because he has that versatility, but that's a guy I could see going to the USFL or XFL, developing as a passer more, and then pushing on and making some more plays and kind of fine tuning his craft a little bit. Overall, we've seen over 63 players earn opportunities from the USFL and XFL. So far, only Jackie Patrick has gotten cut. Chris Blair was waived with an injury designation, so he was waived, but it seemed that he ended up on injured reserve. As these injuries start coming out, once these games start taking place, I'm very curious to see if more of these guys. I talked to Jake Ball from Pro Football Newsroom or USFL Newsroom, and him and I both think that it was going to be over 80 players from both these leagues. I'm not going to sit here and say which league's going to have more or less. Regardless, there's plenty of guys getting workouts every week. But in the end, tell me what you think. Leave a comment below which USFL player or XFL player that hasn't been signed deserves an opportunity. I'm going to probably be doing this throughout the preseason, and depending on traffic with the interviews and everything like that, see if we'll do it during the season as well. But here are my thoughts, just what's going on in the state of alt football and everything like that. In the end, we saw, good play from Lorenzo Burns. We saw good play from Austin Watkins, Hunter Thedford from last year, not so good, and then Derrick Kelley getting an opportunity to play as well. So appreciate you guys supporting me. Thank you guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that goofy stuff, and help us keep growing. Thanks, guys. Bye.